Hey there, everybody. I'm Jim.
And I'm Joe.
Welcome to Bronzeville Comics. We're joined today by
360 Comics.
And welcome. It's hard to determine. I guess it takes a while to populate the room with people. So if you're stopping on in, say hello, pull up a chair, and spend a while with us talking about some comic books and some MCU. So it should be fun.
It should be. It definitely is fun because this show is fun. Not only is it fun, but I'm impressed with how they've kept it PG-13, but made it just gritty enough, just adult enough, just explicit enough to really hit that mark for what Moon Knight should be, while still keeping it within the parameters of what Disney allows.
Right, because my daughters are 12 and 9, and they want to watch these shows and these movies.
Yeah.
With DC, it's difficult because we haven't yet watched the Dark Knight trilogy. The Batman, that's going to be on the shelf for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Titans, Doom Patrol, forget about it.
Yeah.
So
it's especially Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol has some pretty graphic scenes.
Oh yeah, no, they were waiting on that one. And my older one keeps asking, when can we watch? I'm like, yeah, 16 maybe. You got about 4 years.
Yeah.
It's no rush. There'll be plenty of content to catch up on.
Right.
And I think what a lot of veteran comic book readers and collectors don't understand is you need to cultivate a younger audience. Because most of us were introduced to this genre, this material, with Saturday morning cartoons or something of that nature.
Yep.
I think we talked about it last time. For me, it was Adam West Batman and Super Friends and the Aquaman cartoon.
Batman for me as well, but the 90s animated series.
Yeah.
And of course, X-Men animated and Spider-Man animated. And I think I watched just as much of the 70s Spider-Man and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends as I did the 90s one. I had VHSs of those episodes, and the 70s Fantastic Four as well.
Right. Yeah, with Herbie the Robot, one of your favorites.
That's why I'm big on that character, maybe, because
I remember at the time I'm like, where's Human Torch? Why did they not? I don't know if it was a Carl Burgos estate deal or something.
So someone told me, and I don't know if this is true, if this is just the urban myth that has come along over the years, is they used Herbie instead of Human Torch because they were concerned that children would set themselves on fire.
Yeah, that's pretty likely.
Which is a real concern. Those 70s, what would that be? That would be like Gen Z kids.
I think
Gen X.
Yeah. I think adults would be more likely to set themselves on fire after watching the most recent Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, not the best.
And so we can kind of, without giving away any spoilers, I know you did and I did, subjected ourselves to Morbius last week.
Yeah. Rough one.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay, so I didn't want my money back at the end, but I would not recommend the movie to anyone that doesn't want to go see it and make sure that they, just have all the Marvel continuity. Like, right. If you want to see every Marvel movie and you want to see all the continuity and you want to, be prepared for what Sony is doing going forward, go see it. It's not the worst. It is certainly not the best. I'll probably watch it again 10 years from now and I'll be like, that's why I haven't watched this movie in 10 years.
Yeah. I thought he was fine. I thought Jared Leto was good as Morbius.
It was the writing.
The script didn't give him anywhere to go. And I get the feeling that they probably cut so much out of the script to, avoid, stepping on toes of other properties and, cut out the Easter eggs, that it just left it with very little. But I don't think in the structure, there's really an interesting enough conflict to propel the story.
And
it was like,
I am 98% sure, willing to bet that the movie was pushed from, I think, January or February until April 1st. I think it was due to reshoots based upon Spider-Man No Way Home and the success.
yeah.
That's all I'll say. I don't want to give anything away. If you want to go see the movie, go see it. If you don't,
wait for the streaming.
yeah. I'm
You know.
sure I'm sure it will not be in theaters long, and it will be up on streaming,
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter.
I did get my Doctor Strange tickets today, all set for opening night.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm ready, because that's if you're in the comic book community and you're on IG and watching YouTube stuff, you like, even if you're looking on eBay at books,
Right.
you're not going to be able to avoid spoilers. You're going to get hit with something within a day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's impossible not to. It's just coming at you constantly. So I try those Thursdays. I try to stay off of. Hey, my phone's saying we have 0 people in the room. Do you have this set private?
I don't think so. No, I got 5 people according to this.
Oh, well, I apologize to those people. My phone doesn't recognize your existence.
General. Guess now you're in layouts, hotkeys. Hey, say hello if you're here.
Yeah, say hi in the chat.
I got 8 people in here. Usually we get
I don't know. I'm not seeing anything come up on my phone.
I think once we started talking about Morbius, they all left.
Yeah, maybe.
They're like, enough of this.
That's all good.
We have somebody say hello. Okay.
All right. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Mark introduced himself to me a couple weeks ago at punk rock flea market that I was vending at. He came up
I'm just getting used to people like saying, "Hey, hello." Like, I have no idea who they are, and they watch your YouTube channel.
Yeah, you gotta ask what's your username? What's your Instagram handle? That's how we know each other at this point.
So well, let's get started, because we do have. Well, why don't you start with talking about what you have going on in your social media comic book life?
Sure. So I'm doing this every Wednesday with Jim. Next week we'll be on my channel for episode 3. Back to his. Wait, over here. His for episode 4, 5, and 6 on mine and his respectively, of course. And then we got, what else am I doing? Friday, I'm doing a claim sale on Instagram. Just like last week, if you caught that one, I did it with my buddy Tony from Retcon Comics 215. He came over and we ran it together. And he put up some of his books. I put up some of my books. We're going to do the same thing again. And Instagram, I've got a giveaway going right now. Giving away this Batman. What is this? 429. Go follow on Instagram, 360 Comics. And yeah, the only thing that I have really planned, bigger event on the horizon is, well, I guess I have Philly Punk Rock Flea Market at the end of this month. And then next month, the 3 Men in a Basement comic book swap up in Connecticut. I will be vending there. I have a table. Very excited about that. Going to be a good time.
Yeah, I would love to go, but we have a family thing. So one of my daughters has a thing, so we can't do that. So yeah, I'm desperately trying to get it organized enough to do either a whatnot or a claim sale. Because I've just been getting books back from CGC, like, they know who I am, which means the end of this episode, 1 book in here. It's not a huge surprise. It's a really cool book, but we will be unboxing this at the end of the episode. I just picked this up today. I had an incident with my LCS, my best friend growing up. I gave him a 25 book submission, and he lost it. It turns out the box I had put it in, he got mixed up with other boxes and he just mailed it. And fortunately, I knew that the address on the box was a box I had gotten that Erod gave me books in that he had pressed. So they ended up with him, and he has them. So it was kind of a crazy day taking care of all that. Hey, Ray. We also see Street Side Anthony in the house. So
what's up?
That's more or less what I got going on. And why don't we just start talking about the episode?
Yeah, let's get into it so we have some time for your unboxing. So earlier today you said, before I saw it, you said better than the first episode. I do agree. Where the first episode I thought was like a 9, solid 9. I'd give this one a 9.5. This episode, kind of got me a little bit more interested. The suit, not the regular suit, the Mr. Knight suit, I guess you could call it.
The deranged Colonel Sanders suit.
Yeah, that was how that looked and how they did that visually, taking it from the comics. They did a fantastic job of that. It was so comic accurate.
I'm not sure that the comic prices on that book are going to hold.
No, probably not. I mean, I'm pretty sure was like a kind of a key already. Or people, there's value in that book already, but yeah, obviously flash in the pan, the appearance of that suit, and who knows, is it going to appear again? It could be a long-term thing.
Yeah, we'll see. Amazing Spider-Man 129 Russian edition. You're allowed to get those now.
Get them before the embargo.
Yeah, they got out. One of the things that I found interesting in the first episode, there was a lot of confusion. You didn't know exactly what was going on because obviously the main character didn't know what was going on. And I appreciate that when you trust that the filmmakers know what they're doing, that they're showing you something that is going to pay off at some point. So even the opening shot in this episode was the sand.
Yes.
And I thought, I'm like looking, there was like a little dot there. I'm like, is this an overhead of the desert in Egypt? And actually it was just the sand around his bed in his room.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked how they used that texture to change, to kind of get you like questioning what was going on and then reveal it in a slightly different way.
Yeah. And then, without skipping to the end of it, the episode kind of came full circle there. Going to, an Egyptian scene at the end.
Right. And what we were wrong in that this episode was still essentially from the Stephen Grant character's point of view.
Right. We thought we were going to see more from Mark Spector.
Right.
We saw more of Mark Spector and certainly had him, on, more camera time, but it still was Stephen centric, we'll call it.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's just the two of them.
It seems to be. There doesn't seem to be a third personality.
Right.
As the original run of comics would show, right, Kate, right on the front of that first book.
Yeah. And what they haven't explored is we know that throughout these 2 episodes is that, and Grant blames Spector for ruining his life. He's like, I lost my job. I can't sleep, all this other stuff. Well, what's Spector's life like?
Yeah.
Because if he's not in control either, really, where does he live? Does he still live in that same flat? Obviously, he found time to get married.
Right. And part of what I'm wondering is when they're going to have these, who is the original personality? I think it's Mark Spector, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of thought last week, maybe Steven's like the main personality. But one thing that is really, I've noticed, Steven calls his mom. He's always leaving a message. I don't think she exists because I don't think Steven really exists. Right. I think that it's Mark Spector. Steven is a personality within Mark Spector. And, the character essentially doesn't exist.
Because if you go back to the early comics, like this one.
Oh, you gonna show off your haul from this week?
Yeah, I just like on eBay I went, and this I got. Well, here I'm trying to think. There's a slight difference. One's in better shape than the other. I think these two came together.
Very nice.
For $110. And then I picked up this one for $30 on eBay.
That's crazy. Crazy. Explain Layla. Is she in the comic book? There is a character that is a love interest of
Marlene.
Mark Spector.
Right?
Marlene. Yeah. Marlene? Marlene, yeah.
Marlene.
I just think that they renamed her, personally.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very plausible. I don't think that it's any more complex than that, but only time will tell.
Right. And yeah, I did well on that. I just new listing, I think it was. Like, okay, I'll take
it.
Because I traded the one that I had. Well, actually, I had one at CGC, and I traded one I had to Otto at the at King Con for like 3 nice slabs, 3 good solid, $100, $150 slabs. So that was good. So I wasn't sure when he was looking at the security footage, if the Jackal actually existed that attacked him in the thing, but evidently it's just, excuse me, invisible to everybody else from what we saw in the later scene.
He has the ability to see this, but no one else does. But it's interesting because you didn't see anything in the security footage of anything falling over and stuff, but clearly when the Jackal's like in the street bumping into things, you can see that stuff.
He throws them into the car and
right,
that sort of thing.
So yeah, it seems like, because he is the avatar of Khonshu, he has the ability to see these beings from ancient Egyptian. No one else sees Khonshu either. It's the same thing. And I have a feeling we'll see Amit as well at some point. I don't think we've seen any version of the character or anything like that, but I think we will at some point during the season, and he'll probably be able to see it, and no one else will, other than Ethan Hawke, of course.
Book of M number 4. I can't say I'm familiar with that, Ray.
Yeah, Book of M. Book of M number. Is that what I have in my pile? No, I don't have that in my pile. But yeah, I don't know anything about that, so I don't want to comment on it. But there are some Moon Knight experts out there that might be able to lend a hand with that one. We'll see who hops on tonight.
Now, the other thing is, well, you talk about the original identity. The passport is in Mark Spector's name.
Yeah, which would make it more likely that to be the original identity, but at the same time, you can get a fake passport. Jim, you have like 5 or 6, right?
I'm an international man of mystery. I have to find my own one. The other thing that I found interesting in terms of the film style is a lot of use of reflective surfaces.
Yes.
When he first wakes up, he's looking in the mirror, and there are mirrors on either side of him. So you see multiple images of him. You go back to the first episode of the bathroom, and those like infinity mirrors on either side of the bathroom. Yep. When he goes in to talk to the head of security upon being fired, there's like a glass tabletop that is reflective. So you see like his hands underneath the table and his face at the same time. And even when he's walking into the museum that morning, he like they turn the camera upside down as he's going in. Just fun little things like that are kind of just putting the audience a little bit on edge, like, uncertain as to what's going on.
So I actually noticed something rewatching episode 1 in the last week. The scene where he's talking to the statue guy, the
living
street
statue
performer, what I assume to be a street performer. When he walks away, we have an upside down view,
Hmm.
but we're seeing the reflection in a puddle, which means it looks right side up to us. You have to look really closely to tell that the camera is upside down and you're looking in
Right.
the reflection in a puddle. But yeah, I think it's really cool how they're using that kind of imagery a lot, which uh, could have some tie-in with various different weird as above, so below kind of things.
Hmm.
Some alternate universe, possibly. I don't know. Uh-oh. Multiverse.
Yeah, let's. I'm not sure that's where they're going, even though we did talk about the fact that the final episode is the night before Doctor
Yeah.
Strange premieres. Um, I loved that scene where he goes into the storage facility and you just have that hallway that goes on forever
Mm-hmm.
and ever and ever. I just, kind of that creepy vibe that they had used at other times in the series, same kind of like those long passageways.
Yeah. And
And
that scene felt very horror-esque
yes.
with the lights flickering and Khonshu appearing, disappearing, almost like a minor jump
Mm.
scare kind of thing. I like that a
And
lot.
I guess maybe that's where Mark Spector lives because there was a cot in the storage locker.
Yeah, what I think is that like I think that's where maybe like some switches in personalities happen,
Mhm.
and there might be more than just those two. So Mark could go to sleep and it becomes someone else, and who knows? Who knows what's
And
going on there?
I was really disappointed because every time I see a storage locker open, I'm hoping for a bunch of long boxes.
Yeah, yeah. He just put out
Let's
a
see,
video
cool
about
stuff.
that. Very
Um,
funny.
yeah. Uh, the storage locker number was 43, and I can't find any significance to that.
I know, and I was like, why didn't they do 32?
Yeah, that
Like,
would have been fun. Or even
I know
33.
I love
Because
Easter eggs.
33 would have been more appropriate in that scene. Do you know why?
Second appearance of Moon.
Exactly. Right next to the number 43, there's a QR code.
Yeah.
If you scan that, it brings you to the marvel.com website and you get a free digital version you can read of Werewolf by Night 33.
Oh, okay. And they did that in the first episode too.
Right.
I
For
don't think we
32.
mentioned that last week because it kind of wasn't public knowledge yet.
Yeah. So look for the QR codes in all the episodes and you'll be able to find some Moon Knight keys. And you might be able to read this book without having to buy it.
Yeah, maybe that could be a good next one, and then issue 1
Right.
of the
His ongoing
what's it called?
series. And then
Mhm.
maybe the Fist of Khonshu number 2.
Possibly.
Speaking of that, I thought Ethan Hawke was incredible.
Oh yeah.
He was great, compelling, creepy. Just he hit it out of the park.
His like tagline of it's something along the lines of like, I wish you could see the good we're going to bring in the world, or whatever that line is. I think that is a perfect the benevolent villain, the guy
Right.
that pretends to be doing good, like Thanos, helping the universe by killing half the people off. Yeah, it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah,
I
and Marvel
love
seems to
that.
do that rather than like just a villain who's got very limited motivations, like in Morbius.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, we talked about the mother that he keeps calling and not actually talking to, and then the what was it? I'm trying to read my notes. Like how Harrow has built this community there, his cult,
Yeah.
essentially, where you don't have to lock your doors and nobody's hungry, and
Mhm.
and that he was the former avatar of Khonshu.
Right. I was surprised to hear that.
So when you talk about that lineage, Spectre does not want to give up really the curse of being the avatar of Khonshu because it would then pass on to Layla.
Yeah, he's caught between wanting to be free of this and also wanting to protect Layla. And That's got a push pull in both directions there, and
Yeah.
Steven's in the middle, like, help.
Right. So it's interesting because you have these multiple conflicts. The conflict within the personalities within Stephen / Mark.
Right.
Obviously, the MacGuffin of the Beetle, and where that might lead, and also there was a line that Harrow had used about protecting his loved ones, or having Stephen protect his loved ones. So I thought that was interesting. Was Harrow named in episode 1?
He was.
Okay.
The elderly woman that he kills in that first scene where we see him, well, the first scene where we really see him and he talks,
The scene
she
in
calls him
Margaria?
Harrow. She refers to him as Harrow or Mr. Harrow, and he says, "You can call me Arthur."
Okay.
So yeah, we do have his name.
And you also have that the kind of twisted moral perspective, like you said, like you had with Thanos, of trying to eradicate evil,
Right?
but doing evil to eradicate evil, which Peacemaker did in a comedic regard.
Yep.
But
no matter how many men, women, and children he has to kill to get it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. My goodness.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you my absolute favorite scene in this particular movie was the rooftop Jackal chase scene, which culminated in that big jump across, which we saw in the trailer, which kind of ended the trailer. I thought that was just a beautiful scene. Not just that particular jump, but all the choreography of him. It was so swift and so smooth the entire time, and then culminating in the big, impaling of the Jackal.
And I think in general, compared to their distinguished competition, Marvel does a really good job of putting you in a time and place, putting you in, you get the feeling as if you're in London. Like you go back to Civil War and the battle in, was it Munich, in the airport, or even some of the outer space things. Obviously, New York City, Homecoming, I thought, did a great job of being in the outer boroughs and using that real location that some people might be familiar with to give the story some life. Whereas in, let's say, Batman v Superman, where somehow Metropolis and Gotham are twin cities, but the sun only shines on one of them. It just, there was so much artifice to it. And even, not to knock Morbius again, but my friend who I saw it with after the film, he goes, that really smelled of Vancouver.
That what?
It smelled like Vancouver.
I actually, when they were doing the whole rooftop scene, it like gave me this feeling of like the whole kind of Victorian England werewolf mythos. Like I played World of Warcraft a bunch, and when they introduced the Worgen, which are the werewolf characters, it was like that kind of Victorian era horror kind of stuff, and that's what it felt like to me when they were jumping across the rooftops.
So you're thinking there may be werewolves?
I think that there will be werewolves. Obviously it was a Jackal and Moon Knight, but I'm just saying I got that like cool horror feel. Very excited to see the future of what Marvel horror has to bring for the MCU.
And I'm not sure if they have really narrative space for it here. Perhaps a post-credit sequence. And that leads us to something else, which is rather important, which is the contract status of Oscar Isaacs.
Do we know that? Is there any information rumored on that?
What I have read is that he only signed on for this because he didn't want to get pinned down, and he had kind of done by doing Apocalypse and, Poe Dameron. He kind of doing these. He's had his fill of the genre films, and it gives him a lot of. I think it's smart on his part because it gives him a lot of leverage.
Oh yeah, especially if this does well. How much do you want me back? How much are you willing to pay me?
Yeah, according to multiple sources, it does. This is it. He's only under contract for this property now.
Wow.
Money goes a long way, and Disney Marvel, they have plenty of it. He's already an executive producer on this property.
Okay.
So they were able to get Scarlett Johansson back.
Yeah.
Into the Marvel family. Robert Downey Jr. got paid, a percentage, which he got over $100 million he earned for Endgame.
Yeah.
Ray, can you be more specific to mention the Hound of the Baskervilles?
Yeah, I don't remember them mentioning that, but was it maybe in the book, that like poetry part that they were talking about? Not sure. Okay. The suit before. Yeah. I actually wanted to mention this because I feel like there are some similarities to Venom, whereas Eddie hears Venom in his head.
Right.
Mark/Steven is hearing Khonshu. And actually I noticed the voice actually sounds kind of similar to the Venom voice. Maybe it's just a deep echoey voice in someone's head, and that's why it sounds similar to me. But I was sitting there like, this reminds me of like what Venom should have been, essentially, not as much talking in the head.
It's interesting because I've had this running joke for years with a couple friends of mine. Almost every comic book movie ever created has an Oscar winner in the cast.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not everyone, but almost everyone. Even like
Sure.
that really bad late 80s Punisher direct-to-video movie had Louis Gossett Jr.
Okay.
And so the voice of Khonshu is Academy Award winner F. Murray Abraham.
Not sure who that is, but okay.
That's because he didn't do much else. He played Salieri in Amadeus in 1984.
I've seen that.
Yeah, he was great in that, and he's a Middle Eastern actor. So that, and we were mentioning. I think I mentioned in the preview show how the director of, I think it's 4 of the 6 episodes, is Egyptian.
Okay,
and we're getting the opportunity. By Marvel expanding the universe, the Shang-Chi, we saw some of it where we're getting introduced to other cultures. And I think that's going to be something, obviously a Pakistani American in Ms. Marvel. I think that's something we're going to see more of going forward because, unlike the Silver Age of Marvel Comics, where every single superhero was in New York City, except the guys up in Westchester, they there have to be superheroes from throughout the world other than just the Collective Man and Shamrock.
You know who I'm crossing my fingers for? We're seeing Egypt. What Egyptian Marvel character I'm crossing my fingers for?
Egyptian Marvel character. I should know this.
There's a couple, but there's one that I would love to see in the MCU.
Who's that?
Shadow King. We got him in Legion, which was a very underrated show.
Yes, a very weird show.
That's so trippy. But right up my alley. And the character is so cool.
Yeah.
Pick up your X-Men 114, 117. I don't know. I forgot what number.
Well, it's interesting because Egyptian mythology played such a big role in many origins in the golden age of comics because the King Tut's tomb was opened in, I think it was the late 20s.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
That when The Mummy came out, the movie with Boris Karloff in 1933, that was a big part of pop culture. And I know DC better than Marvel. Hawkman is connected to ancient Egypt. Black Adam was connected to ancient Egypt. Dr. Fate was connected to ancient Egypt.
All those
I think even Johnny Quick was connected to ancient Egypt. That might have been a retcon, but it was like kind of this mysterious place for most Americans in 1940 to talk about Egypt. But most people had some understanding of what it was just from, if nothing else, the Mummy and popular culture.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, sure. They can use imagery with the mirror, reflections of the multiverse. We see it in the Doctor Strange trailer as well, the shattered mirror with all the little glimpses of various characters in there. Probably not directly related, but just a stylistic piece of imagery.
Yeah. So I think before we got off on it, I think we were talking about Isaac's contract status.
Yes. Back to Moon Knight, the topic at hand.
What's coming next? Obviously, Harrow is trying to find Amet's tomb, and that's going to open up a figurative Pandora's box, I guess. And that's going to be, perhaps the conflict for the remaining episodes. I'm still not sure where this show's going.
Because
where it ends.
We're supposed to see Midnight Man, right?
Exactly.
Unless they wrote that character out after the actor died, but I can't imagine
it was too close to the release.
Yeah,
I would think.
It happened just a few months ago.
And I have a question about Spectre. Is Spectre, like he was in the comic books, is he, just like a millionaire playboy, so to speak, as he originally, kind of created? Is Frenchie involved at some point? Do we see that reference? There was very, very slight reference to him, but that means he obviously exists. And he was essentially Moon Knight's Alfred, because Moon Knight did resemble Batman in many ways early on. And they kind of moved away from that by going more into the mythology and the dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, I get the parallels, but when people say like, "Oh, that's Marvel's that's Marvel's version of Batman," I think that is glossing over the character and just ignoring all of his complexities, and just kind of looking at it on a surface level. Guy that punches someone a lot, sure. But yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot to come. Harrow definitely is like the Harrow / Ammett is probably the big bad of the series, but I definitely think we're going to see Midnight Man. Given the character was cast and announced and everything like that, and they made a big deal of it when he passed away. That that he had finished filming for this, so I have to assume we're going to see him somewhere. I don't know in what capacity though, and are we going to see anyone else?
He could be, I guess, someone that Harrow uses, that employs.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that he's going to be a mercenary,
the stooge,
of sorts,
a henchman.
Yeah, I think he's too cool. Midnight Man's too cool of a character to be a henchman. We'll call him a mercenary and a hired gun. But yeah, there's certainly a lot they can do, and I'm really wondering what they're going to do to tie this to the MCU, because I understand like he's not signed on for anything else, but like they would be kind of silly to not give us something. Like we got Kingpin and Hawkeye, we got
and Yelena
we having these references and stuff like that. We need something like that.
Yeah, and to set something else up. So I don't think they're going to be strong ties to the MCU. It seems like this is going to be more or less self-contained. And I think it was the directors basically saying they had some references. They kind of moved away from that to have this story more self-contained. But I think what we're going to see is something perhaps in an end credits sequence.
Yeah. I do think there'll be something in episode 5 or 6 before the end credit scene, if there is an end credit scene, who knows? But I think there will be something in 5 or 6 that fans of the MCU are going to love, because I just feel like they have to do that. They wouldn't leave us hanging like that, in my
Even
opinion.
if it's like a little preview of Werewolf by Night or something
Right.
like that. Just something to get people excited for upcoming properties. Because marketing wise, what I think Marvel, by interconnecting everything that they've done, is they made all of the properties, all of the properties very rewatchable.
Oh yeah.
Because you watch Endgame and you can go back through the entire canon of movies and find other things. And you watch WandaVision, and just the one line from Endgame is, "You took everything from me," takes on so much more meaning.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right. And here's the thing. They want us to keep coming back. They're making money off of these, people coming back, and they're not going to stop giving us these end credit scenes and these tie-ins and these previews of what's to come, because people have eaten them up to the point where DC is doing it now. It's not just Sony coming in and doing these end credit scenes in their movies.
Sony's doing it very poorly.
Sony's doing it poorly, yeah. But we basically got one, an end credit scene, and then an online end credit scene in the Batman.
Right.
They saw how well that people react to those, and they hopped in with their own. So, hey, personally, I've been picking up Moon Knight stuff. I hope the character is going to stick around. I think he's a great character. And
I think, but Oscar Isaac has put himself in a very favorable bargaining.
Sure. Which he can do. He's a household name at this point. He's not a Robert Downey Jr., but he was in Star Wars. He played a major character in Star Wars. He can do that kind of stuff.
And how else, if I'm not mistaken, in Marvel Comics, who has ancient Egyptian ties, was Apocalypse.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be a weird end credit sequence. Like a multiverse apocalypse scene. That would be bananas.
Could that be the intro to Multiverse of Madness, is the multiverse opening up and Apocalypse coming through and being like, "Hey,
I know you."
To Mark Spector. Mark Spector's like, "Not another one." Or no, it's like Steven, like,
I don't
they can do a lot of things with that. I hope they don't, because I really, oh man, you don't know how bad I want to see an Apocalypse. Just so bad.
Yeah.
I've got an X Factor 4 right over, or X Factor 6 right over somewhere in that box.
I picked one up in a collection recently. It's
not a
great pick, though.
Oh, speaking of, hold on a second. I wanted to show these off real quick. I know you've got an unboxing to do, and I'll let you get to that in a minute. But I picked up some Moon Knight books in a collection over the weekend. I just put out a video on YouTube today, actually, about this collection. It was an estate sale, and it was thousands and thousands of comics, but it was lotted out. So I had to win multiple lots. One lot had a bunch of Moon Knight books in it. Had this one, which is a Moon Knight and Shang-Chi. I think this is a one-shot. I would assume it is, because I've never seen it before. This incredible cover of Moon Knight 44. There were a bunch of Mark Spector books.
Not 43, like the locker number.
No, and then we had the 4-issue limited series, which I'm excited about because that's contained and short, and I really want to read it. And then going back to the original run, we got this Bill S. cover. Bill Sienkiewicz, amazing cover. Like this has to be a top 5 Moon Knight cover. So good. And then the big one, a Platt cover, number 57 with Spider-Man. That was in there too. And that made the whole box worth it. I think I bought the box for like $60, and this book's like $100 on in high grade. I see a spine ticker too, but yeah, that made the whole box worth it. Yeah, just some books that I picked up, but yeah, Jim, you want to get to your
this unboxing? Is not high grade, the book in here. It's a golden age book. It is a really, I mean, it's not a key issue, but it's an important book in comic book history.
One might say it's low grade.
It is exceedingly low grade. There's not going to be a whole lot of surprise about the grade. It's if I would be thrilled if it's a 1.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yep.
You
A
know,
0.5 all day.
but I don't. I needed to really encapsulate this and get it preserved, if nothing else. I'm trying to figure out where that. I have to cut the tape. Where
Yeah,
this-
and I'm all. I just picked up a Golden Age Superman book today, and it's a 0.5, but it's slabbed. Paper was not meant to last for decades and decades and decades. It just
No.
simply wasn't, especially newsprint paper. Like that was meant to be chucked, recycled, used as for your pet to use the bathroom on. Like it was not meant to last that long. So people
And
do. There's a lot
especially
of
in the
people out there that complain about slabbing comics up, but really it's going to preserve them and it's going to make them last longer than they would otherwise.
especially early 1940s when you were doing paper drives during the war.
Yeah. And,
You know,
at some point, these
Mom
books are
wasn't
going
saying,
to
"Oh,
turn
yeah, you
to
need-
dust.
Yeah, hold on to these comics. They're going to be worth thousands of dollars to your grandchildren."
Right.
So,
Who would have known?
oh wait, this is disappointing.
Oh no. What? Uh-oh. That's not good.
No, they did not slab it. That is, I have. Let's see what it says.
Why would they not slab it unless it was like a fake?
Yeah, that is really bizarre.
Is there a note?
No, let's see what's on the invoice. They charged $68 to not do anything with it.
That seems preposterous.
Yeah, there's just like stickers on the front that this is Superman number 6.
Does it have a grade on the stickers or anything like that?
No, it's just like some reference numbers, I guess, and when they received it and what have you.
What the heck? Did you by mistake submit it as a 9.8 pre-screen?
No, it didn't pre-screen, I don't think. That is really strange.
I would immediately call CGC and be like, this is preposterous. Is a possibility they graded your book and then forgot to encapsulate it.
Yeah, but why would they put it in a raw book holder? Like,
I don't know.
Because they didn't charge $8 for it. They charged $68.
Can you see grader's notes?
Well, there's no, unless,
I mean, they clearly graded it if they charge you $68.
yeah, that is one of the weirder things I've ever seen. I'm gonna have to.
Oh God, I hope it's not counterfeit. That's the only thing that I'm thinking that it could be, but
Let's see. Sign in. That is so weird.
this is
Because
folks,
you would think there'd be,
unprecedented.
yeah. I'm not sure. This. So it has a certification number.
Okay.
It doesn't have a grade, though. It says grade category universal, grader notes unavailable.
Yeah, I think you just got to call them and ask some questions and be like, hello, I paid $68 for this.
Well, with
What's
shipping
going
and
on?"
handling, it was $110.
Yeah.
It's because I just wanted it encapsulated.
Yeah. The Superman 6. What is that, 1940?
1940. Yeah, September, October 1940.
Wow.
It's, over 81 years old. And That is really weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't, because it says grade category universal.
Huh?
Didn't say restored. It didn't say qualified, but there's no grade.
Well, that's good.
And
I think they made a mistake.
It does have a certification number.
Can you look up the certification number?
Yeah, no, I did. That's what comes up. This number. Let me go back so I can see the screen. This is really interesting. So this number, right, is that's the certification number. Now, I haven't gotten any books back that failed a pre-screen.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, Sicilian, I think that's what happened. I think they started processing it, and then either they graded it and then accidentally sent it back, or they just didn't grade it at all and sent it back.
Yeah, because you would think that there would be a reason why they couldn't do anything with it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to, I sent it through my LCS. So after this, I'm going to have to give him a call and see what, I don't think anything different would come up on his end, because grade category universal. So it would almost be like they didn't find restoration and they didn't find anything missing, right? Because that would give it a purple label or a green label. And I don't know. It's just really bizarre because I know I've seen people doing unboxings of pre-screen books, and the books that get rejected have a label.
Yeah, that's normal.
I don't know. Does the certification number,
talk to your buddy, talk to CGC customer service, and hope for the best.
This is really nice to have another headache.
Yeah.
That
is what it is right now, I guess.
Yeah, they know what it is. That's really weird.
To be continued, everyone.
Yes. So who knew that this was going to be the biggest surprise of the show?
Yeah. There we go. A Superman book.
Yeah. It's like, that was really weird. When I opened it up and saw the raw books inside, I'm like, what? Because if there had been a reason for not grading it and encapsulating it, you would figure that they'd send you a note, say, hey, and not charge a full grading fee.
Right. Huh. Oh, well.
So this was, somebody's asking to see the box.
Yeah.
It came, this raw books inside, right? Essentially their version of Gemini mailer. That, I know people when they do pre-screens, the books that don't make it, and it was a regular CGC box that said fragile on it that, will hold, maybe a slab. The invoice doesn't indicate anything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I said, I don't want to know the grade to my friend. So he just, gave me the box.
Yep. Oh, boy. Oh, well. We got a question in the chat. Being it's based in Europe, do you think Moon Knight will have Pete Wisdom or other Excalibur characters cameoed? That would be cool, but I can't see them doing that before the introduction of the X-Men. But maybe. Maybe. Don't forget, we can't say the word mutants yet.
Not yet?
I mean, I'm sure that we can now, but I think they're waiting to do that.
Yeah.
They have to find some way to explain it, whether it's the Celestials implanting the mutant gene or
on another multiverse or
multiverse. Yeah, it's probably going to be one of those two. I've kind of narrowed it down to those being the only two real options. It's been too long since the snap. I did think maybe the snap could do it, but it is what it is. Maybe Agent Braddock. Maybe some Captain Britain up in here. All right. Well, Jim, you got anything else to say?
I don't know what else to say. I'm dumbstruck.
So episode 2, I think overall, definitely a great episode. Better than episode 1, in my opinion. I thought episode 1 was really great. I think we're going to get into the meat of it in the next couple episodes. I think we've just been really introduced to the characters so far, with very minor plot developments, and we're gonna see a lot more going forward. Very excited about all that. And next week we're on my channel, same time, 10 p.m. Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, over on 360 Comics. So subscribe there if you don't yet. And Jim, what do you got?
I don't know. I got to do a video for tomorrow now. And so yeah, we'll be over there next week. So until then,
turn the page, wash your hands,
enjoy your comics.
See ya.
Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.